Something as simple as a spoken word can bring life and death. And when Jim Domen heard someone tell him he was gay, a lifestyle that he knew little of became his identity.
My name is Jim Domen, and I lived in a homosexual lifestyle for 3 years. I started realizing in 7th grade that I really wasn't attracted to girls. I was more attracted to boys or older men. Couldn't figure out why. I was never sexually abused or didn't have any issues like that growing up. Went to counseling throughout high school, trying to understand where this was coming from and why I was attracted to the same sex. Tried dating through high school, and that really didn't fix or change me. I was still attracted to men, even though I, had a couple girlfriends. Down deep, I had a true heart desire to do what was right. What was in the Bible, God's Word, to get married, have a family, but never thought that would be possible. It was when I was living in Bermuda, I was fired as accused of being a homosexual. At the time, I was a virgin. I'd never had sex because I was saving myself for marriage. And after being accused of something that I wasn't, I just said, you know what, God, I want to love and be loved, and I can't do this with your plan. I'm going to do what is best for me. So I came out in Portland, Oregon, came back to the United States and started visiting gay bars and trying to fit a need, a brokenness in my heart that had never really been met or been filled. It was June 8, 2002 when it all fell apart. And literally God, he took everything from me. My car was repossessed. My partner switched, sexual partner and business partner switched all of our bank accounts. And overnight had lost everything. I laid literally on the floor with just the clothes on my back on a tile floor looking at the ceiling and saying, God, I'm yours again. Well, that next morning I got up, no money, and I was trying to figure out, well, my gym membership hadn't been canceled, so I went to the gym to work out. Or so I thought. As I was walking to the car, there was $5 laying on the sidewalk, and I bent over, picked it up, and the Lord spoke ever so eloquently to me. He said, Jim, I took care of the Israelites in the desert, and I'll take care of you and yours. But then there is this battle for, I still have these issues, same-sex attraction, some call it. And I really didn't want to go back. In my mind, I said, as soon as I get back on my feet, I'm going to go right back to being a homosexual, because this is who I am. And the reality of it is, it wasn't who I am. My sin is not my identity. My behavior is not my identity. My identity is in God and in Jesus Christ. As God started healing me, and from that spectrum and bringing me over to healthy heterosexuality, what he pointed out to me was my desire, my need to connect with men was true, that was correct, but doing it in a sexual behavior was destructive and not healthy heterosexuality. I was seeking masculinity, but in unhealthy ways, and hanging around healthy heterosexual men, really teaching me on what it is to be a true man, the true masculinity. The story how I met my wife was it's a fun story. I went to Azusa Pacific University, Haggard Graduate School of Theology, to get my Master of Divinity. I remember APU, by mistake, had mailed my diploma to the wrong address. And I went to pick it up. I drove to APU, walked into the office, and this beautiful woman comes walking by who shouldn't have been there. She's a manager of the office, and her office is in the back. But it was a divine appointment, and I said, I'm here to get my diploma. So she gave it to me, and she said, go ahead and take it out and read it. So I pulled it out and read it, and I said, wow, this is such a miracle. I said, I've come out of the homosexual lifestyle. I'm now a pastor, a recorded Friends pastor. I just finished my Master of Divinity, my degree, and I just bought a home. And she looked at me square and she said, it sounds like God has
restored the years the locusts have eaten. And Jim was, I found out later, touched by that because it was from Joel. And I didn't really know what I was quoting at the time, but I knew that God had really changed Jim. And So I just was thinking, wow, here's a guy who's got his degree, he's got a house, he's got a good job, and he's cute, and he loves the Lord, and it just really made an impression on me. And so when he left that afternoon, I had a sense, because we girls tend to know these things, that he was going to ask me out later.
As we kept conversing, I just saw Jesus burning in her eyes. I'm like, I have to know this woman. I want to get to know her. So I got her number.
First question he asked me was, well, are you married? And I said, no, I'm not married. I said something like, I'm dating and I'm wanting to get to know people. So we went out for coffee and just really clicked. And I started to see the big values that we had in life in common, that we both wanted to have a family, that we both had a love for the ministry of God. And just every time we talked, I just knew that God was doing a work there. We
got married, and we've been married in July 2009. So it's been an incredible journey of restoration and healing, and I can't wait to share my story with the world.